Hey, what's going on, everybody? It looks like we are live. Today's reading of the Chronological Bible, and we are in day 44. So let's get into it. Bezalel, a man from the tribe of Judah, oversees the construction of the for ark for most of the holy place, the innermost parts of the tabernacle, all the furnishings for the holy place, the larger inner sections of the tent, and the altar, wash basins placed in the courtyard. Bezalel also designed the priest's clothing. Bezalel's construction lasts for centuries, and each piece would be replicated in the temple. This design from the high priest's garments would be used throughout the history of Israel. Priesthood. Each gold furnished piece points to the future work of Christ. The altar points to pouring out of his blood, the wash basin to his of the believers, and the ark cover to the atonement for sins. The lampstand, table of bread, and incense altar preview Christ's identification as the light, bread, fragrance of life. Finally, Christ himself is the high priest who will forever intercede for his people. Building the ark, Exodus 37 1 through 9. Next, Bezalel made the ark of acacia wood, a sacred chest, 45 inches long, 25 inches wide, and 27 inches high. He overlaid it inside and out with pure gold, and he ran a molding of gold all around it. He cast four gold rings and attached them to its 4 feet, two rings on each side. Then he made poles from acacia wood and overlaid them with gold. He inserted the poles into the rings at the side of the ark to carry it. Then he made the ark's cover, the place of atonement, from pure gold. It was 45 inches long and 27 inches wide. He made two cherubims from hammered gold and placed them on the two ends of the atonement cover. He molded the cherubims on each end of the atonement cover, making it all of one piece of gold. The cherubims face each other and look down at the atonement cover. With their wings spread above it, they protected it. Building the table, Exodus 37 10 through 16. Then Bezalel made the table of acacia wood, 36 inches long, 18 inches wide, and 27 inches high. He overlaid it with pure gold and ran a golden molding around the edge. He decorated it with 3-inch borders all around, and he ran a gold molding along the border. Then he cast four gold rings for the table and attached them at the four corners next to the four legs. The rings were attached near the border to hold the poles that were used to carry the table. He made these poles from acacia wood and overlaid them with gold. Then he made a special container of pure gold for the table. Bowls, ladles, jars, pitchers to be used in pouring out liquid offering. Building the lampstand, Exodus 37 17 to 24. Then Bezalel made the lampstands of pure hammered gold. He made the entire lampstand and its decorations of one piece, the base, center stems, lamp cups, buds, and petals. The lampstands had 6 branches going out from the center stem, three on each side. Each of the 6 branches had 3 lamp cups shaped like almond blossoms, complete with buds and petals. The center stems of the lampstands was crafted with 4 lamp cups shaped like almond blossoms, complete with buds and petals. There was an almond bud beneath each pair of branches, where the 6 branches entered and extended from the center stem, all made of one piece. The almond buds and the branches were all of one piece with the center stems, and they were hammered from pure gold. He also made 7 lamps for lampstands, lamp snuffers, and trays, all of pure gold. The entire lampstand, along with its accessories, was made from 75 pounds of pure gold. Building the incense altar, Exodus 37 25 through 29. Then Bezalel made the incense altar of acacia wood. It was 18 inches square and 36 inches high, with horns at the corner carved from the same piece of wood as the altar itself. He overlaid the top sides and horns of the altar with pure gold, and he ran a gold molding around the entire altar. He made two gold rings and attached them on opposite sides of the altar below the gold molding to hold the carrying poles. He made the poles of acacia wood and overlaid them with gold. Then he made the sacred anointing oil and the fragrant incense using the techniques of a skilled incense maker, building the altar of burnt offerings. Exodus 38, 1 through 7. Next, Bezaleel used an acacia wood to construct the square altar of burnt offerings. It was 7.5 feet wide, 7.5 feet long, and 4.5 feet high. He made horns for each of its four corners so that the horns and the altar were all one piece. He overlaid the altar with bronze. Then he made all the altar utensils of bronze, the ash buckets, shovels, basins, and meat forks and finger pans. Next, he made a bronze grating and installed it halfway down the side of the altar under the ledges. He cast four rings and attached them to the corners of the bronze grating to hold the carrying poles. He made two poles from acacia wood and overlaid them with bronze. He inserted the poles through the rings on the sides of the altar. The altar was hollow and was made from planks, building the wash basin. Exodus 38, 8. Bezaleel made the bronze wash basin, and it was bronze stand from bronze mirrors donated by the women who served at the entrance of the tabernacle. Building the courtyard. Exodus 38, 9 through 20. Then Bezaleel made the courtyard, which was enclosed with curtains made by fine woven linen. On the south side, the curtains were 150 feet long. They were held up by 20 posts set securely in 20 bronze basins. He hung the curtains with silver hooks and rings. He made a similar set of curtains for the north side, 150 feet of curtains held up by 20 posts set securely in bronze basins. He hung the curtains with silver hooks and rings. The curtains on the west end of the courtyard were 75 feet long, hung with silver hooks and rings, and supported by 10 posts set in 10 bases. The east end of the front was also 75 feet long. The courtyard entrance was on the east end, flanked by two curtains. The curtains on the right side were 22.5 feet long and was supported by three posts set in the three basins. The curtains on the left side were 22.5 feet long and was supported by three posts set in the three basins. All the curtains used in the courtyard were made of the curtains of finely woven linen. Each post had a bronze base, and all hooks and rings were silver. The tops of the posts of the courtyard were overlaid with silver, and the rings to hold up the curtains were made of silver. He made the curtains for the entrance to the courtyard of fine woven linen, and he decorated it with beautiful embroidery in blue, purple, and scarlet thread. It was 30 feet long, and its height was 7.5 feet, just like the curtains of the courtyard walls. It was supposed to be four posts, each set securely in its own bronze basin. The tops of the posts were overlaid with silver, and the hooks and rings were also made of silver. All the tent pegs used in the tabernacle and courtyard were made of bronze. Inventory of materials, Exodus 38, 21 to 31. This is the inventory of the materials used in building the tabernacle of the covenant. The Levites compiled the figure of Moses directed, and Ithamar, son of Aaron, the high priest, served as the recorder. Bezaleel, son of Uri, grandson of of the tribe of Judah, made everything just as the Lord had commanded Moses. He was assisted by Oholiab, son of Hishma, of the tribe of Dan, a craftsman, expert in engraving, designing, and embroidering with blue, purple, and scarlet thread on fine linen clothing. The people brought special offerings of gold, totaling 2,193 pounds, as measured by the weight of the sanctuary shekel. This gold was used throughout the tabernacle. The whole community of Israel gave 7,545 pounds of silver, as measured by the weight of the sanctuary shekel. The silver came from tax collected from each man registered in the census. The tax is 1 bekah, which is half a shekel, based on the sanctuary shekel. The tax was collected from 603,550 men who had reached their 20th birthday. The 100 basins from the frames of the sanctuary walls and for the posts supporting the inner curtain required 7,500 pounds of silver, about 75 pounds of each for each basin. The remaining 45 pounds of silver was used to make the hooks and rings of, to overlay the tops of the post. The people also brought as special offerings 5,310 pounds of bronze, which was used for casting the basis for the posts at the entrance to the tabernacle, and for the bronze altar with its bronze grating and all the altar utensils. Bronze was also used to make the base for the post that supported the curtains around the courtyard. The bases for the curtains at the entrance of the courtyard and all the tent pegs for the tabernacle and the courtyard. Clothing for the priests. Exodus 39:1. The craftsmen made beautiful sacred garments of blue, purple, and scarlet cloth, clothing for Aaron to wear while ministering in the holy place, just as the Lord commanded. Making of the ephod. Exodus 39:2 through 27, 3 through 7. Bezalel made the ephod of finely woven linen and embroidered it with gold and with blue, purple, and scarlet thread. He made gold thread by hammering out thin sheets of gold and cutting it into fine strands. With great skill and care, he worked it into fine linen with blue, purple, and scarlet thread. The ephod consisted of 2 pieces, front and back, joined at the shoulders with 2 shoulder pieces. The decoration sash was made of the same material, finely woven linen, embroidered with gold and with blue, purple, and scarlet thread, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. They mounted the 2 onyx stones in the settings of the gold filigrees. The stones were engraved with the names of the tribes of Israel, just as the seal is engraved. He fastened these stones on the shoulder pieces of the ephod as a reminder that the priest represents the people of Israel. All this was done just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Making the chest piece. Exodus 39:8 through 21. Bezalel made the chest piece with great skill and care. He made it to match the ephod, using the finely woven linen embroidered with the gold and with blue, purple, and scarlet thread. He made the chest piece of a single piece of cloth folded to form a pouch 9 inches square. They mounted 4 rows of gemstones on it. The first row contained a red Caroline, a pale green period, and an emerald. The second row contained a turquoise blue lapis lazuli and a white moonstone. The third row contained an orange jacinth, an agate, and a purple amethyst. The fourth row contained a blue, green beryl, and onyx, and green jasper. All these stones were set in gold filigrees. Each stone represented one of the 12 tribes of the sons of Israel, and the name of the tribes was engraved on it like a seal. To attach the chest piece to the ephod, they made braided cords of pure gold thread. They also made 2 settings of gold filigrees and 2 gold rings and attached them to the top corner of the chest piece. They tied the 2 gold cords to the rings on the chest piece. They tied the other ends of the cords to the gold settings on the shoulders pieces of the ephod. Then they made 2 more gold rings and attached them to the inside edge of the chest piece next to the ephod. Then they made 2 more gold rings and attached them to the front of the ephod below the shoulder piece, just above the knot where the decorative sash was fastened to the ephod. They attached the bottom ring of the chest piece to the ring on the ephod with blue cord. In this way, the chest piece was held securely to the ephod above the decorative sash. All this was done just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Additional clothing for the priests. Exodus 39:22 through 31. Bezalel made the robes that is worn with the ephod from a single piece of blue woven cloth, with an opening for Aaron's head in the middle of it. The opening was reinforced with a woven collar so it would not tear. They made pomegranates of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and attached them to the hem of the robe. They also made bells of pure gold and placed them between the pomegranates along the hem of the robe, which with the bells and pomegranates alternating around the hem. This robe was to be worn whenever the priests ministered before the Lord, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. They made tunics for Aaron and his sons from the fine cloth. The turban. I missed something. Oh, I jumped. The turban's special head covering were made of fine linen, and the undergarments were also made of fine woven linen. The sashes were made of finely woven linen and embroidered with blue, purple, and scarlet thread, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Finally, they made the sacred medallions, the badges of holiness of pure gold. They engraved it like a seal with these words, Holy to the Lord. They attached the medallions with a blue cord to Aaron's turban, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Awesome. All right, so that concludes the book of Exodus. Right? Yeah. And then tomorrow we start the book of Numbers. No, there's still a little bit more left in the book of Numbers, book of Exodus, and then we'll go into the book of Numbers. Okay, we got one more day of the book of Exodus. All right, guys. So that's the reading for today. So I'll see y'all tomorrow.